and when they get larger, you need to separate them. Like L3, I separated my Carolina mantises at about L3. Uh, if you have the containers and the time, you should probably. I mean, it's kind of good to separate them younger, but still, you get very few. My Carolina mantises, they're just a couple or so were eaten at L1 and then L2. It probably depend on how much you feed them. If you feed them very little, yeah, they might be more cannibalizing. I might have probably I probably would have had more cannibalizing in with my Carolina methods. Then I kept it during the winter. I had deficit of fruit flies, so but I didn't lose so many from starvation. Actually, that was interesting. I got fruit flies and bred them just enough to keep them alive until they were large enough to eat roaches, nymphs of roaches and stuff. When they L3 and I think L2, I gave them some. I'm not sure, but um, oh, it takes a lot of time to feed them if you keep them only a few, like two or three in each 32-ounce container. So that's the reason. If you have the time, it might be good to, but you don't have to. You get very few cannibalizing if you feed them enough at least. Um, some species do well together. They don't eat each other. A lot of species do. These are especially aggressive types, or they'll eat each other. Chinese mantids and Carolina mantids. Carolina mantids, I think they're even more aggressive than Chinese mantids, though they're smaller. So they, um, when they get larger, it's a lot easier to keep. Problem is to keep the young nymphs. If they get stressed out, the young nymphs are fragile. But when they get larger, you won't have probably. If you can raise the L1, the young nymphs, then yeah, you can probably raise the larger nymphs, or larger nymphs to adult. Um, Handling. Mantises don't really like to be handled. I think it's probably good to leave them alone, but it might not. It might be all right to handle them a little. They. I don't like to. I try to avoid handling them much. Many people think they are happy. The mantis is happy on their hand, crawling around, but to me, it looks like they're running. They're scared, especially when their abdomens are pumping out or moving quickly. I think that means they're breathing a lot. Um, some mantises, they vary a lot in personalities. Some will be really aggressive, and some will be very skittish when you try to handle them. But most mantis species and most individuals of those species will not act like that. They'll be just walking, kind of little sometimes little jerking and jerk a little and run away or a little. But especially at higher temperatures, they seem to be more active mantises, and they'll be more skittish or more aggressive, whichever. When cooler temperatures are more docile than mantises. Uh, so I try to I would say not handle them unless there's a little child and he loves to handle it. And Some mantises are really hard to handle. Chinese mantises and Sphodra mantises, other large mantis species, they're generally hard to handle. They also really they can be kind of dangerous, or they can bite you and scratch you. Draws a little bit of blood. It's more scary than hurt, I guess. I guess it just doesn't hurt much. I haven't really been bitten or by a mantis actually. I don't, or I've been scratched and pinched and been close to being bitten. Like a Carolina mantis grabs my finger, thinks it's food. That's unusual. But Sphodra mantis, they're even more aggressive than Chinese mantis, and so they're probably more likely to think your fingers are food. When those clumsy mantises are climbing you, they sometimes lose their footing and they'll grab with their raptorial arms, the front legs, and squeeze. That's really scary for a little child or whatever. It's really bad. Um, Smaller mantises, they're much better for handling. Flower mantises, little ones, um, I haven't. They never think you're food, or they'll never really bite you. They'll just run. They're just skittish. Um, Also, the flower mantises seem less clumsy, vigilant, or whatever. They know you're an animal, and they'll just sit there until they'll just bolt, whatever. That probably that's just the Gambian spotted eye flower mantids I had. Pseudoharpax variescens, subspecies variescens. But there probably is a lot of variation. I haven't had much experience actually keeping mantises. I've only kept a few species of mantises, so I don't know. I just read online about them. That's all. Also, keeping the mantises away from when where you're walking around, like a hallway, is probably good, or because some skittish types of mantises, these Neomantis binotata, they're really skittish. They they always look at you from far away. They'll see you. All mantises really, they can see you from anywhere. They even maybe during the night. Uh, there's I've been told they're diurnal insects, but they seem active during the night and eat. They just so I'm not sure. Maybe insects don't need to sleep or whatever. Um, uh, uh, they might like to bask in the sunlight, but I don't know. It might just be the heat, and if you keep it in a warm room, it'll be the same thing as